I originally started recording, I think, the intro to 5 or 6 videos all at one time about 4 weeks ago, and I decided that I just rambled on. So here's what we're going to do. Going to get right to the point. I like to travel. I know a lot of you like to travel, and a lot of the times we like to travel, but we travel with a lot of people. And what I like to do is just touch base on different ways to be able to get away, but not too far away, so you can get the shots that you want and not drag the group backwards in their great adventure that they're having. Sightseeing is great, but when you travel with a group and you try to do some really nice photography, sometimes it can be pretty difficult. So I thought I'd get that going. I think I have some pretty good insight. I travel with a group of about 10, sometimes 20 people. We have a lot of fun. We'll get to it in just a minute. We just went to Greece on a fairly long cruise. I think it was a 10 or 11 day cruise. And we started in Venice and we ended in Venice, but we went to Santorini, Crete, Ephesus, Turkey, and several islands in between. Just had a really great time. The hard part about traveling on a cruise is you have a limited time in any particular spot. And usually you're not able to get to photographic or photogenic type things that you want to during the best light. You're normally there during the harshest light. The ship's dock in the morning, and you might be able to get ashore by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then you have to leave by 5 or 7 o'clock in the afternoon. And what that does is it pulls you away from the golden hour, the blue hour, in particular places. Doing photography on a cruise also, it can be really tough because you get off the ship with maybe 1,000 people or maybe 2,000 or 3,000 other people. So you're all walking around and visiting all of the same things at the same time. It can be pretty challenging to get something that I feel, to me, is interesting, and with not too many people in. It can be pretty crowded at times. But lucky for me, I like to shoot the not so obvious items when I travel. I do shoot the obvious. I shoot the very popular, and then I look for the things that people don't necessarily see. I try to look at things differently when I go. But the fun part about that is while I'm trying to pick out a shot, I have maybe 5 seconds or 35 seconds or maybe a minute and 5 seconds to figure out a shot, because I'm walking, I'm touristing with at least my wife, if not 8, 9 other people, and it could be pretty rushed. And being rushed, you learn to shoot differently. You learn to see differently. You tend to try to figure out if do I want to be in the front of the group, and then at the end of the group run up to the front again, or how are you going to interact with your group that you're with? The other part is if like we travel, we always travel. We hire we always travel in a group of like 8 to 12 people, and we hire guides. And the guides tend to move you through places at a fairly decent pace, give you a lot of great information, but it doesn't give you a whole lot of time to stop for a minute and take a photo and absorb it in the way that I'm used to. I grew up an Air Force brat, and we would go and stay someplace for hours and hours. This red-tailed hawk has been coming around for about 5 years now. And he'll fly from hilltop to hilltop and scream like that, or sit in a tree in the backyard and scream like that. for no particular reason. And it's pretty funny. Anyway, it's really hard to stop and get a shot and feel like you've done something. So I actually have to travel because of the way I need to shoot. I have a card for every day. I have 1 or 2 batteries that I charge at night for every day. I think I carry 8 batteries and 12 cards. And then I have a backup drive. I throw things on every night until I have a duplicate. And I use a different card for every day unless I don't shoot much one day. It tends to be a lot of fun and quite a challenge. I think it's a challenge. It kind of puts you to the test. You know, can you find a shot in 45 seconds? Something that you like. So really, to cut to the chase with everything, when you're traveling with other people and you're in a group, you really have to be conscious of what's going on with the group, or you'll get lost. 1, 2, you'll mess with their experience on the trip, or 3, you'll miss something in the whole process. You might miss some information you might feel is valuable. You have to weigh all these issues. You know, are you going to have a good time with the group, or are you going to maybe even separate yourself from the group for a little while? Every once in a while I would let them all know that I was taking off in a certain direction for a few minutes, and I might show back up in 10, 20, or 30 minutes, depending on what I've arranged with them. And it didn't interfere with what they had going, as long as I was conscious of where they were going at that point. And it gave me a little bit of freedom to go out and do my craziness, buy into things, and have a good time doing the more specific to me things without bringing them in on it. So when you're walking with a group, a lot of times if you know which direction they're going, you can walk ahead a few minutes and get in front of the situation and wait for the guide or the group to kind of walk up your way. And while they're headed your way, you could be shooting the items or the scenes that you would like to see. Or if they're not moving very quickly, what you can do is you can absorb the information, and as they get ready to move on to another location, you hang back for 30 seconds or a minute and a half, just to give yourself a little bit of time to take that shot. One of the best things that you could possibly do, though, is as you come up on a situation, a scene, or an area, or anything that you might want to shoot, as you are getting there, set your camera up. If you're not shooting automatic anything, you need to be ready. You need to set your aperture. You need to set your ISO. You just need to be. You need to think ahead. And it just takes a little bit of planning. And by all means, practice in your hometown, practice in your backyard, inside your house, the dark areas, the light areas, any kind of weather. Like right now, it's fairly overcast. It's kind of windy out. It's a little bit crazy. It's chilled off a little bit for a few days. My crabapple tree is about half picked through by the robins and starlings, and I'm hoping that the cedar waxwings will show up pretty soon. They look really beautiful in this tree behind me. But anyway, it's just being conscious of the group you're working with and walking with, and giving yourself some time ahead, during, or after without interfering with them. The last thing you really want to do is start a problem with their enjoyment. Most vacations are not cheap, especially these days. If you're working with a guide or a personal guide in a small group, that can be really expensive. So it's always best to really plan ahead and practice ahead, so that when you're on site, when you're in your tour, you're prepared. And I just think that you can do this. I can do this. You can do this. You can have a really great time. And I hope you subscribe. Thank you.